Imagine a universe so bizarre that even science fiction can't keep up. Planets where it rains molten glass, worlds blacker than coal, and even rogue planets that drift alone in the dark. These aren't fantasy, they're real. Today, we're diving into 7 of the strangest planets ever discovered. Each one is weirder than the last, and trust me, by the end, you'll be questioning just how strange the universe can get. Buckle up, this is going to be mind-blowing. HD 189733b. Imagine stepping onto a world where the sky is a stunning deep blue, like a tropical paradise. But don't be fooled, this is no vacation spot. This is HD 189733b, and it will shred you to pieces before you can take a single step. Located 64.5 light-years away, this exoplanet may look beautiful from a distance, but its atmosphere is a brutal war zone. The winds here roar at over 5,400 miles per hour, that's 7 times the speed of sound. And if that isn't terrifying enough, those winds are carrying shards of molten glass blasting through the air like nature's own sandblaster. Imagine a never-ending storm where the rain doesn't just soak you, it slices you apart. But how did it get this way? Well, its hellish weather comes from its extremely close orbit to its star, which superheats its atmosphere. The intense heat evaporates silicate particles, which later cool and form glass droplets, only to be swept sideways by the extreme winds. And that deep blue color, it's not from a peaceful ocean. Scientists believe it comes from the silicate particles reflecting blue light. So, while Earth's blue skies come from a scattering effect in our gentle atmosphere, HD 189733b's blue comes from something much more violent. A world of razor-sharp rain, hurricane-speed winds, and scorching temperatures, this planet is as deadly as it is mesmerizing. TOI 849b. What if I told you there's a planet out there that lost everything except its heart? That's TOI 849b, a world that shouldn't exist, yet it does. This exoplanet, sitting 730 light-years away, is thought to be the exposed core of a former gas giant. Imagine Jupiter stripped of its atmosphere, left bare and vulnerable. That's TOI 849b. It's 3 times the mass of Earth but far denser, suggesting it was once covered in thick, swirling clouds of gas, just like our own gas giants. But something catastrophic happened. Did its star rip away its atmosphere over time? Was it the result of a violent planetary collision, or did it somehow fail to develop a proper atmosphere in the first place? Scientists still aren't sure. But one thing's certain, this planet is a goldmine of secrets. By studying TOI 849b, astronomers have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to study what's inside a gas giant, something we'll never be able to do with Jupiter or Saturn. What elements make up its core? What does a planet look like after it's been stripped to the bone? This planet is a ghost of what once was. A lonely, exposed core drifting in space, holding the key to the past of many gas giants. WASP-12b. Some planets are born to die, and WASP-12b is one of them. This doomed world, located 1,400 light-years away, is slowly being eaten alive by its own sun. Unlike planets that drift peacefully in their orbits, WASP-12b is in a death spiral, orbiting so close to its star that it completes a full orbit in just 1.1 days. That's right, 1 year on this planet is barely more than 1 Earth day. But that's not the worst part. The extreme closeness to its star means the planet is being pulled apart by intense gravitational forces. It's not a perfect sphere anymore. It's been stretched into an egg shape with gases being ripped away into space. Over time, its entire atmosphere will be consumed, and in about 10 million years, it will be completely gone. What's even stranger? WASP-12b is blacker than coal. It absorbs about 94% of all light that hits it, making it one of the darkest planets ever discovered. Imagine a world where no sunlight reflects back, a pitch-black dying planet, slowly being devoured by its own parent star. This is the ultimate planetary tragedy, a world that won't last. It's being erased from existence little by little, every single second. And one day, all that will remain is its star, glowing in the darkness, as if the planet was never there at all. Rogue planets. Imagine a planet with no sunrise, no sunset, no warmth, no star to call home. This is the fate of rogue planets, worlds that wander the galaxy alone. Unlike Earth, which orbits the Sun in a predictable, stable path, rogue planets drift aimlessly through space, unbound by the gravitational pull of any star. Scientists believe these planets were once part of solar systems but were violently ejected, either from massive planetary collisions, gravitational chaos, or encounters with other stars. And the craziest part? There could be more rogue planets than stars in the Milky Way. Some estimates suggest trillions of these lonely wanderers are scattered across our galaxy. But what happens to a planet that has no sun? Without a nearby star, rogue planets don't have the luxury of sunlight. Their surfaces are shrouded in eternal darkness, frozen solid unless they have an internal heat source. But some could still support life, if they have a thick enough atmosphere or a hidden ocean under a layer of ice. Picture an entire Earth-like planet, floating in the void, never seeing daylight, its only light coming from distant stars. It's eerie, it's lonely, and it's out there right now drifting silently through the abyss. 55 Cancri E. What if I told you there's a planet out there that might be worth more than our entire planet combined? Meet 55 Cancri E, a world so extreme that scientists believe it could be made of solid diamond. This exoplanet, located 41 light-years away, is twice the size of Earth but nearly 9 times as dense. It orbits so close to its star that a year lasts only 18 hours, meaning it's locked in a never-ending inferno, with temperatures soaring over 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 2,200 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt iron. So why do scientists think it's a diamond planet? Its composition suggests it has an unusually high carbon content, and with intense pressure and heat, carbon can transform into pure diamond. That means if 55 Cancri E really is carbon-rich, parts of its crust, mantle, or even core could be diamond. But before you start planning a space mining mission, there's a catch. Recent research suggests the planet may not be pure diamond but instead covered in magma oceans, making it more of a fiery hellscape than a sparkling gemstone. Still, whether it's a diamond treasure trove or a molten wasteland, 55 Cancri A is one of the most bizarre and valuable planets we've ever discovered. Tres 2b. Some planets shine, others reflect light. But Tres 2b does something even stranger. It absorbs almost all the light that hits it. This exoplanet, found 750 light-years away, is officially the darkest planet ever discovered, blacker than coal, ink, or even the blackest paint on Earth. Scientists were shocked when they measured how much light bounced off this planet. The answer? Almost none. Tres 2b reflects less than 1% of the light that hits it, making it darker than any known celestial body. It's like a giant black hole in space, except it's a planet. But why is it so dark? Its atmosphere contains chemicals that trap light, instead of reflecting it. Unlike Jupiter, which has bright clouds that make it visible from Earth, Tres 2b is a light-eating monster, covered in unknown gases and minerals that absorb nearly everything. The result? A world of eternal darkness, where the only glow comes from its faint red heat, barely escaping into space. If you stood on its surface, you wouldn't be able to see your own hand in front of your face, just an endless abyss of blackness. A world that swallows light itself. Tres 2b is the closest thing to a real-life dark void. Kelt 9b. Some planets freeze, others burn, but Kelt 9b, it doesn't just burn, it boils. This ultra-hot Jupiter, located 670 light-years away, is the hottest exoplanet ever discovered. How hot? A mind-melting 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit, 4,300 degrees Celsius, hotter than some small stars. This planet is so close to its sun that it orbits once every 1.5 days, and the heat is so extreme that its atmosphere is literally evaporating into space. Imagine stepping outside and watching the sky peel away into the cosmos. That's what's happening to Kelt 9b right now. Because of the intense radiation, even molecules struggle to survive here. Scientists believe that common elements like hydrogen and oxygen are being torn apart by the heat, making this planet's atmosphere unlike anything we've ever seen. And the worst part, it won't last forever. Over time, Kelt 9b will be completely stripped down, leaving behind nothing but a scorched planetary core, or maybe even disappearing entirely. A planet that burns hotter than fire itself, Kelt 9b is the ultimate cosmic inferno. The universe is full of mind-bending mysteries, and these strange planets are just the beginning. Which one blew your mind the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey through the cosmos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more futuristic discoveries and space wonders. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep exploring the unknown because the future is limitless. Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sun just vanished? No explosion, no warning, just gone in an instant. Sounds like something out of science fiction, right? But let's think about it. For 8 minutes, everything would seem normal. Then, darkness, no sunrise, no warmth, just a world plunged into an eternal night. And that's only the beginning. Earth would break free from orbit, drifting into space. Temperatures would plummet, turning our planet into a frozen wasteland. Life would collapse, and humans, well, we'd have to fight against impossible odds to survive. So could we make it? Or would this be the beginning of the end? Let's find out. The first 8 minutes. Imagine this. One moment, the sun is shining, warming your skin, lighting up the sky, and then poof, it vanishes, just gone. No explosion, no warning. But here's the weird part, nothing changes. For 8 minutes and 20 seconds, Earth keeps spinning, birds keep flying, and the internet still works. Why? Because the sun's light and gravitational pull take time to reach us, exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds at the speed of light. So, for that brief window, everything appears normal. The sun still looks like it's right there in the sky, but then, everything changes. Suddenly the world plunges into total darkness. No sunset, no twilight, just instant, all-consuming blackness. The sky, a gaping void, even the moon disappears because, guess what? It only shines by reflecting sunlight. And then gravity lets go. Earth has been locked in a gravitational dance with the sun for 4.5 billion years, but now, the music stops. No more central force holding us in orbit. We don't feel it, but at this exact moment our planet stops curving around the sun and shoots off into space, like a car suddenly skidding off a racetrack. But there's no panic, no alarms, no immediate disasters. For now, the only thing people notice is the pitch-black darkness, a night with no dawn. And in this eerie, unnatural silence, one terrifying thought starts creeping in. Something is very wrong. Earth breaks free. Imagine floating in space, untethered, weightless, completely free. Sounds peaceful, right? Now imagine Earth doing the same thing. But at 67,000 miles per hour. The moment the sun disappears, so does its gravitational pull. For over 4.5 billion years, the sun has held Earth in its invisible grip, keeping us locked in orbit like a cosmic leash. But now, that leash just snaps. At first, nothing feels different. You don't feel the planet moving, just like you don't feel it speeding through space right now. But make no mistake, Earth is now a runaway spaceship, no longer bound to its familiar orbit. Where do we go? Straight ahead. For billions of years we've been following a curved path around the sun, but with no sun pulling us in, we stop curving. Instead, we shoot off in a straight line, hurtling into the void. Imagine spinning a ball on a string, then suddenly cutting the string. That's us now. A lonely, frozen marble drifting deeper into space. The moon? It sticks with us, for now. Since Earth's gravity still exists, the moon keeps orbiting like nothing happened. But over time, without the sun stabilizing things, the moon's orbit could become chaotic. It might spiral closer, or drift away forever. And here's where it gets terrifying. As Earth speeds into the abyss, we leave behind something irreplaceable. The one thing that has always been our anchor. The solar system, our home, fades behind us. We are no longer part of it. We are alone. Instant darkness. Imagine flipping a switch and turning off the sun. 1 second it's bright and warm, the next? Total, absolute darkness. No sunset, no gradual dimming, just an instant void, swallowing the sky whole. The moon? Gone. It only shines because it reflects sunlight, so now it's just a dead, invisible rock drifting through space. The blue sky? It vanishes too. Without sunlight scattering through the atmosphere, our world is suddenly cloaked in an eerie, star-speckled blackness, even during what should have been midday. But here's the weird part, not everything goes dark immediately. For a few hours the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, will still glow faintly. Why? Because they were far enough away that the last rays of sunlight are still traveling toward them. It's like watching fireworks. After the explosion, you still see the light for a moment before it fades. And then there's Earth itself. Cities? They still glow with artificial lights, street lamps, neon signs, flickering TVs. But out in nature, everything feels unnatural. Even if you light a fire, it doesn't feel the same. Shadows don't stretch the way they used to. There's no golden warmth, no dawn on the horizon, and the stars, they look different. With no sun overpowering them, the night sky is now insanely bright. You'd see distant galaxies, nebulae, maybe even planets from other solar systems. A beautiful sight if it weren't for the chilling realization that this is it. This is forever. Earth becomes a giant freezer. Darkness is one thing. Cold? That's a whole different nightmare. Without the sun's warmth, Earth becomes a dying ember in space. The heat we once took for granted now slipping away, second by second. The first day? Not too bad. The temperature drops, but thanks to our atmosphere trapping some heat, it's still survivable. Maybe you grab an extra blanket, turn up the heater and think, this isn't so bad. But by the end of the first week, you step outside and feel a deathly chill, colder than the coldest Antarctic winter. The average global temperature has plunged to around -73 degrees Celsius, or -100 degrees Fahrenheit. The air bites. Your breath turns to frost the moment it leaves your mouth. Rivers freeze, lakes turn to solid ice. And the ocean? It's starting to freeze too. At first, only the surface forms a thick, glassy layer of ice. But below, the water remains liquid, for now. The deep ocean holds onto heat like a massive thermal battery, buying time before the inevitable. But time is running out. Within a year, the entire planet is a frozen wasteland. The surface temperature drops to -200 degrees Celsius, so cold that even the air itself begins to change. Oxygen and nitrogen start to liquefy, coating the ground in a thin, eerie layer of frozen gas. The sky? Empty, silent, lifeless. Earth is no longer a home, it's a drifting ice ball tumbling deeper into the void, and unless we find a way to escape, we're going down with it. The end of life. Life is resilient, but without the sun, it's on a ticking clock. Within days, plants start dying. No sunlight means no photosynthesis, the process that keeps them alive. First, the leaves wither, then the forests go silent. No buzzing insects, no rustling leaves, just stillness. A world that was once alive is now starving. Within weeks, the food chain collapses. Herbivores, deer, rabbits, even insects begin dying off. Predators hold out a little longer, scavenging whatever's left. But with every meal they're simply delaying the inevitable. Soon there's nothing left to hunt. Humans? We're resourceful, but this isn't just a food crisis. It's a fight against the cold. Even with stockpiled supplies, even in heated shelters, every breath outside freezes in your lungs. Cities turn into ghost towns, buried under layers of ice. Electricity grids fail, and slowly, one by one, fires burn out. But here's where things get strange. Not everything dies. Deep below Earth's surface, some life doesn't even notice the sun is gone. Creatures in hydrothermal vents, blind shrimp, bacteria, and deep sea worms thrive in the scalding heat from the Earth's core. They don't need sunlight, they never did. Microbes living in deep caves, trapped under glaciers, or buried beneath the ocean floor, they could survive for centuries, maybe even longer. Earth's surface may be frozen solid, but underground, life still clings on. The real question is, how long can we? Could humans survive? Humans are survivors. We've conquered ice ages, deserts, and disasters. But could we survive the death of the sun? At first, yes. Governments would declare emergencies and people would retreat indoors using backup power, stockpiled food, and whatever warmth they could find. Underground bunkers, nuclear power plants, and geothermal energy sources would become humanity's last hope. But let's be real, this is just buying time. The biggest problem? Food. Without sunlight, crops die. Livestock starves. Canned goods and frozen food last for months, maybe years, but eventually supplies run out. Hydroponic farms and lab-grown meat could keep some people alive, but only for so long. A long-term food source? That's a problem no one can solve. Then there's the cold. Even with heating, temperatures outside drop below survivable levels. Oceans freeze, air becomes too thin to breathe, and every step outside is a death sentence. Cities crumble under the weight of ice. Power plants fail, and nuclear reactors eventually shut down. Maybe a few thousand people survive in deep underground shelters, heated by the Earth's core. Maybe they last centuries, using technology, rationing supplies, and clinging to life, but at some point, Earth will be too cold, too airless, too dead to sustain us. The only real hope? Leaving. But with no sun, space travel is nearly impossible. No gravity assist, no energy source, no safe destination. Earth was always our home, but without the sun, it's just our tomb. So what do you think? Could humanity survive without the sun, Or would Earth become a lifeless, frozen rock drifting through space? One thing's for sure, we owe everything to our star. If you enjoyed this mind-bending scenario, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more fascinating science and technology explorations. Got a wild what-if question? Drop it in the comments, we might cover it next. Until then, stay curious, stay innovative, and keep exploring the unknown. What if everything you've ever known, our planet, our galaxy, our entire universe, is just a tiny bubble floating in an endless cosmic sea? Sounds like science fiction, right? But hold on, what if I told you some of the world's greatest physicists actually think this might be true? That our universe could be just one of many, each with its own bizarre laws of physics, strange realities, and maybe even another you living a completely different life? Buckle up, because today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing ideas in science, the multiverse. And trust me, things are about to get weird. The multiverse concept. Imagine this, you're staring up at the night sky, lost in the vastness of the universe. You see thousands of stars, millions of galaxies, and an infinite stretch of darkness. But what if I told you that everything we know, our entire universe, is just one tiny bubble floating in an endless cosmic ocean? Yeah, that's right. We might not be the center of reality, we might just be one of many. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, are we in some kind of cosmic fish tank? Well, not exactly, but according to the multiverse theory, our universe isn't alone. There could be countless other universes, each with its own version of physics, time, and even life. Some might be similar to ours, while others could be completely unrecognizable. Maybe in one universe, gravity pulls upward instead of downward. Maybe in another, time flows backward. Sounds crazy, right? But that's the beauty of it, it's a real scientific possibility. Think about it this way, have you ever blown soap bubbles? Each bubble exists separately, but they all come from the same source. They float around, sometimes colliding, sometimes merging, and sometimes just existing on their own. Now replace those soap bubbles with entire universes, and that's kind of what the multiverse might be like. But here's the kicker. If we're just one bubble, what's outside of it? And can we ever reach another one? Or even wilder, what if something from another universe has already found its way into ours? Hold on to that thought because things are about to get even weirder. The bubble universe theory. Alright, let's break this down. How exactly do scientists think these bubble universes even form? It all starts with something called cosmic inflation, a fancy way of saying that right after the Big Bang, space expanded at an insane speed, stretching everything apart. Now imagine this expansion happening at different rates in different regions. Some areas slow down faster than others, and boom, individual bubble universes form, each sealed off with its own physics and laws of nature. Picture it like popcorn in a microwave. The heat is building up, and suddenly, pop, a universe is born. Then another, and another. Some pop faster, some slower, but they all expand in their own way. This means that our universe might just be one kernel in a bag of infinite cosmic popcorn. Wild, right? But here's where it gets even more interesting. Scientists like Andre Linde believe that this process never really stopped. Meaning, new universes could still be forming right now in places we can't even see. Some could be microscopic, while others could be thousands of times larger than our own. And guess what? If this theory is true, then it's possible that some of these universes might overlap or even interact with ours. Now let's get weird for a second. What if strange occurrences, like unexplained disappearances, time anomalies, or those gut feelings that something isn't quite right, aren't just random? What if they're glitches caused by our universe brushing up against another one? I mean, what if the Mandela effect, where people remember events differently, isn't just a memory trick, but proof that universes are shifting around us? We might never know for sure, but one thing's clear. The more we learn about our universe, the more we realize how little we actually understand. And if this bubble universe theory is correct, we may be way smaller than we ever imagined. Implications of our universe as a tiny bubble. Okay, so let's assume for a second that our universe is just one tiny bubble in a massive cosmic multiverse. What does that actually mean for us? Well, buckle up, because things are about to get mind-blowing. First, if multiple universes exist, then somewhere out there another version of you could be living a completely different life. Maybe in one universe you made a different decision that changed everything. Maybe you chose a different career, met a different person, or who knows? Maybe in some universe you're a billionaire living in a city that floats above the clouds. But let's take it a step further. If our universe is a bubble, could it ever collide with another one? Some scientists think so. They believe that just like soap bubbles merging, two universes could occasionally interact, leaving behind traces of their encounter. And guess what? Some cosmologists believe they've already found possible evidence of such a collision in the cosmic microwave background, the faint radiation left over from the Big Bang. Now here's the real kicker. If universes can collide, what happens to us? Would we even notice? Would physics start breaking down? Would we wake up one day and suddenly find that the laws of gravity have changed? Would history itself rewrite before our eyes? And here's another thought. What if universes don't just collide but sometimes leak into each other? Could paranormal experiences, UFO sightings, or even unexplained vanishings be the result of people slipping into another reality without realizing it? Maybe those stories of people who mysteriously disappear without a trace aren't just accidents. Maybe they've literally fallen into another universe. If this theory is right, then everything we thought we knew about existence is just scratching the surface. Because in the grand scheme of the multiverse, we're not just tiny, we're barely even a blip. Scientific perspectives and theories. Alright, enough speculation. Let's talk science. How do we actually know that the multiverse might exist? It turns out some of the biggest minds in physics, like Andre Linde, Stephen Hawking, and even Albert Einstein, have all explored ideas that could hint at multiple universes. One of the leading ideas comes from something called inflationary cosmology, the theory that after the Big Bang, space didn't just expand, it exploded outward at unimaginable speeds. But here's the twist. Some parts of space may have inflated differently than others, creating separate, isolated universes that we'll never be able to reach. Another theory comes from quantum mechanics, the weird science of tiny particles. You know how in quantum physics a particle can be in two places at once? Some scientists believe that every time we make a decision, the universe splits, creating a parallel reality where the opposite choice was made. In one universe, you took that job offer. In another, you turned it down. In one universe, Earth exists. In another, it never formed. And then there's string theory, the idea that reality is made up of tiny vibrating strings of energy. Some versions of this theory suggest that our universe could be one of many floating on a higher dimensional membrane, like sheets of paper stacked in a cosmic filing cabinet. If true, our universe might not just be a bubble. It could be part of an endless ocean of realities. But the biggest problem? We can't prove it, yet. Right now, everything we know about the multiverse comes from mathematical predictions and indirect clues. We can't exactly build a spaceship and fly to another universe, but scientists are constantly searching for evidence. Cosmic radiation, gravitational waves, even glitches in physics that might suggest we're not alone in the cosmic sea. So here's the big question. If the multiverse is real, how do we find a way to explore it? And more importantly, what if something from another universe finds us first? Observational evidence and challenges. Alright, let's get real. If the multiverse is out there, how do we prove it? I mean, it's not like we can just peek outside our universe like looking through a window. The problem? We're trapped inside our own bubble, and anything outside of it is beyond our reach. But that hasn't stopped scientists from trying to find clues. One of the biggest hopes for proving the multiverse comes from something called the cosmic microwave background, basically, the oldest light in the universe. Scientists have been scanning this ancient radiation for strange patterns, like unexplained cold spots or distortions, that might suggest a collision with another universe. And guess what? Some astronomers believe they've already found one, a mysterious cold spot in the CMB that shouldn't be there. Could this be a scar left behind by another universe brushing against ours? Then, there's the idea of gravitational waves, ripples in space-time caused by massive cosmic events. Some researchers think that if universes are colliding, they might leave behind detectable gravitational waves that we could measure. The problem? The signals we're picking up are so faint that it's like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a hurricane. And here's where things get even crazier. Some scientists have suggested that black holes might be key to unlocking the multiverse mystery. You know how nothing can escape a black hole? Well, what if black holes aren't just dead ends, but gateways? Some theories suggest that when something falls into a black hole, it could be spat out into another universe entirely. Could it be that black holes are cosmic portals leading to different versions of reality? The truth is, we're still at the very beginning of understanding the multiverse. The biggest challenge? We may never be able to directly observe it. It's like trying to prove there are other fish in the ocean while being stuck inside a single fishbowl. But just because we can't see it yet, doesn't mean it's not there. Science has proven time and time again that the universe is way weirder than we ever imagined. So who's to say we won't find a way to peek beyond our cosmic bubble? Philosophical and existential considerations. Okay, so let's say the multiverse is real. What does that mean for us? I mean, think about it. Our entire existence, our history, everything we know, could just be a tiny fraction of something infinitely bigger. That's both exciting and terrifying. For one, it totally flips our idea of reality. We've always thought of the universe as everything. But what if it's not? What if we're just one page in an endless book? What if right now another version of you is out there, living a completely different life in a universe where things played out just slightly differently? Maybe in that universe you chose a different career. Maybe you met someone else. Maybe you never even existed at all. And here's another big question. If the multiverse exists, does that mean our choices don't really matter? I mean, if every possible outcome is playing out somewhere, does free will even exist? Or are we just passengers riding different versions of reality? Then there's the biggest question of all. If there are countless universes, does that mean life is common? Are there civilizations out there that have already discovered how to jump between realities? And if so, have they found a way into ours? But maybe the real mind-bender is this. If the multiverse exists, could we be part of someone else's simulation? What if our universe is just a test, an experiment running inside a more advanced reality? And what happens when they decide to pull the plug? At the end of the day, the multiverse is more than just a scientific idea. It's a question of what reality itself is. And the more we learn about it, the more it seems like the possibilities are truly endless. So, what do you think? Are we just one tiny bubble floating in an infinite multiverse? Or are we something even stranger? One thing's for sure, the universe or universes is far weirder than we ever imagined. So what do you think? Are we just one tiny bubble in an endless multiverse? Or is reality even stranger than we can imagine? One thing's for sure, the universe is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more mind-blowing science and tech explorations. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay curious.